You have made the decision or are planning to start your own study group? In this presentation, we will explore the important things to consider in order to successfully set up and sustain a study group. Hello, my name is Gaétan Charland, and I have been involved in study group for many years. There are certain questions you should answer before making the decision to proceed with the creation of a study group. Here are some of them. Why start a study group? What do I want to accomplish with this study group? Am I willing to commit several years to this project? Will the group be virtual or face-to-face or both? How many people do I want in my group? Where will the meeting take place? How often will the meeting take place? Will my family support my decision? These are all questions that need to be answered if you want your group to progress and succeed in what you want to achieve. There are several guides for study group published today by different organizations that can help you plan and start a study group. There is also a website dedicated exclusively to listing study group and offering you the opportunity to publish your group. But before consulting these guides or this website, you should first answer a basic question that is part of the ones I listed earlier. What is the purpose I wish to pursue with this group? This purpose you wish to pursue with this group must be compatible with the Urantia book's mission. That means you need to make sure you know what that mission is. There are two places where you can find the answer to this question. Some in the Urantia book and others in the publication mandate. In fact, this purpose is not only intellectual, but also spiritual in nature. One of the purposes enumerated in the Urantia book is to expand cosmic consciousness and enhance spiritual perception. To do this, a study group needs to explore and study both aspects of this proposal. You will find many answers to the pursuit of the spiritual purpose and its application not only in the first three parts of the book, but more specifically in the life of Jesus. One of the proposed goals is to bring the teaching of the Urantia book to life. But do not be discouraged if these various goals seem intangible or out of reach at the moment. For a beginner, patience and perseverance are required. There are many things you will learn through experience, and no guides or book can replace or fulfill this important requirement. Hosting a study group offers a multitude of spiritual and intellectual benefit, and this acquisition becomes more real with time. But all these spiritual and intellectual benefits are not limited only to the host, but are also part of the experience of the participants. There are also important criteria to consider that can contribute to the success of your project. Here are some of them. Having read the Urantia book at least once or several times. Having participated in a study group for at least 1 year. Having visited or participated in different study groups. Have decided how to facilitate your group. Have decided how often you will meet. Each of these criteria may require experience that is desirable to have if you are serious about achieving your goal. Let's take a closer look at each of these criteria. Having read the Urantia book in its entirety one or more times, this is a criterion that is a must and does not need any explanation. Having already participated in one or more study groups is certainly an important asset in your adventure, and even more so if this experience was spread over several years and with different groups. All your efforts in this project will certainly be enhanced by all these experiences. Knowing the Urantia book well and deciding how to facilitate the group is also an important asset, as long as humility guides that facilitation. Here's a quote that supports that. The pride of unspiritualized learning is a treacherous thing in human experience. The true teachers maintain his intellectual integrity by ever remaining a learner. These quotes illustrate the danger of erudition. Let us not forget that a study group is a place where together we discover new values that make us see even greater meanings. We must remember that the study and the acquisition of knowledge are progressive and validated by actual experience of service. Now, let's take a look at the frequency of meeting. I would say that this criterion and the answer to this question are essential in the pursuit of a goal in harmony with that proposed by the Urantia book. The frequency of encounters has an important impact on the goal. In your own education, for example, you went to school for several years, and those years consisted of daily study and learning period spread out over weeks and months. You had to listen, study, and practice what you learned to acquire the ability to read, write, compose, count, and think. So, if you really want to achieve a goal in harmony with the Urantia book, you must make a sincere effort by establishing a reasonable frequency of meetings and a reasonable study program. So, will your group be once a week? Once every 2 weeks? Or just once a month? Each host must decide how they will run and facilitate their group. The hosts are completely free in their decision, but it would be wise for them to consult with potential or current group members on the criteria for running their group. To help you establish these criteria, you may want to look at the study group guides available online or consult with study group hosts. Another important point to consider is the number of participants. In the beginning and for a while, a group might have a really small number of participants, 3 people. With time and good strategy for recruiting new members, this number can grow to 15 or more people, making the group a little bit more difficult to manage. Personally, I would not recommend more than 10 to 12 people in order to facilitate the exchange and sharing among participants. It is also important to develop and maintain a protocol for the meetings and to ensure that all participants are aware of and adheres to the rule outlined in the protocol. This will ensure that the groups run smoothly and that things don't get out of hand. You can use different study group guides to help you develop your own. Now that you think you are ready, what are some immediate action you can take to get your study group up and running? First, make a list of readers you want to invite to your group and call them. Then, contact your local Urantia association to inquire about the help and support they can offer you in starting your group. Place an ad in the local newspaper or on a bulletin board at your local library or bookstores. Decide where and how often your group will meet. Post your group on the study group directory and on your local or national association's website. Create a Facebook or Twitter page to publicize your group. And extend the invitation. In carrying out this project, you will encounter several challenges, each of which, if approached with a bit of discernment and wisdom, will contribute to the growth and health of the group. Some of the guides available to help study group contain many important tips to guide you in ways to organize, facilitate, and keep a study group functioning. So, check them out. In other presentations that I have published on YouTube, you will find other relevant and complementary informations, ideas, and tips on facilitating a study group to ensure its quality of functioning in pursuit of a goal is consistent with that of the Revelation. Have a good and enlightening study group.